Today's video, I want to cover the difference between health and wellness, and I want to cover the pillars of health, the four pillars of wellness. I've done extensive videos on the four pillars of wellness, but I'd really like to kind of touch base on those. And then I want to connect this information in a way that you who have found this video can leave today, after you watch the video, to leave having some confidence in your ability to research your own health and to make decisions, informed decisions on your own health and subsequently your wellness. So health and wellness is something that it's, you know, with this Make America Healthy Again energy that's moving through, especially the Western, but United States specifically. You know, I'm not here to help you make America healthy again. I'm here to guide you if you are ready and willing and able to make change for your health and wellness. I'm ready to guide you on that and provide you with information on that. With this Make America Healthy Again movement energy, and I'll call it a movement because it's something that we're moving towards. We're looking at the way or the status quo or what we've come to accept over however many decades, and now we're going to make these radical changes to our health, which is really not going to happen overnight. It's something that, I mean, it took us forever to get here, and so it's going to take us forever to get out of. But any step forward for us as individuals in the direction of our health, reclaiming our health and our wellness, is a step in the positive direction. And there's no one step forward, two steps back, and still making ourselves healthy. So let's kind of erase and reframe that and say we are going to make ourselves well again, or make ourselves well for the first time. Some people are coming at this from never having done anything towards their health, no movement within themselves, no exercise, not really worrying about what they eat, not really caring about how they sleep or what they put in their body or what they put on their body, which, you know, I've said before, the biggest organ on our body is our skin. So what we're rubbing on our arms and under our armpits and putting on our face, or putting in our hair, it plays a significant role in our health as well as what we put in. And sometimes what we put out and put in, they clash. It's like putting yeast in a pancake. I mean, you can have it, or what is it? If you I think it calls for baking, one of the baking soda or baking powder, and you put the opposite in it, it gives a really bad flavor. So combining things that are toxic on the inside and on the outside can create issues within the body. That includes something from the outside. For example, people who are on certain medications, they can't get in the sunshine. So that's outside big organ and inside all your small organs, and it causes problems. But the difference between health and wellness is actually pretty vast. We are not looking to just be healthy physically. While that's great, it's one grain of salt in an entire ocean of grains of salt or sand or whatever. So we are looking to be well. We are looking to become the ocean and not the grain of sand in the ocean, if that makes sense. We are here for the marathon and not for the sprint. The sprint is nice. The sprint makes us feel good. A lot of times, and to kind of summarize this up from health and wellness, is think about a person. If you say, or they say, we're going to eat healthy again. Well, what'd you eat? I had a salad. Well, there's some generational gaps on what a salad entails. Like my generation and the generation before me, we would have iceberg lettuce, tomato, some shredded carrots, maybe a cucumber, maybe some onion chopped up, and a radish. And it's served with Thousand Island or ranch or whatever dressing. Like back in my day, olive oil was just not looked at. It's too expensive, by the way. So the concept of salad is very different for some people than it is for others. And you don't really hear it. It's funny because in males, when it comes to like I'm eating better, they don't really come at you and say, yeah, I ate a salad. That's a woman thing. That's a mindset thing. That is a nutritional dogma thing. And while I embrace a salad and I love a good salad, I like what we call a sexy salad. And it's got all the things. It's got berries and proteins and some seeds and avocado. And I mean, there's just an abundance of things in that bowl that constitute a nutritionally sound salad. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on how to make salads and stuff like that, but it kind of gives you an indication of the difference between health and wellness. So, sure, you took a step in the right direction to have something delicious like a salad. I mean, good for you, and I respect that and I appreciate that. But that, on occasion, is probably not going to make major changes. And your definition of a salad, like, gosh, what restaurant can you go to anymore and get the side salad and it not just be, like, I think they've migrated to romaine in some places, but it's just this meh lettuce, which has really low or no nutritional value whatsoever. Some over-processed tomatoes that they probably, they were made from seeds that within the seed, they have all these pesticides in the seed. So they plant the seed. That way the tomato can grow and it doesn't get attacked by bugs. But just like a baby in our womb, if I am growing a child within the confines of my body, but I'm drinking alcohol and I'm eating a ton of sugar and I'm smoking cigarettes, all of that's going into that baby, and that baby is born with things that like fetal alcohol syndrome. If I'm a drug abuser, that's going to go into the baby. So it's really important to understand that that seed is going to grow something very, very similar. So health and wellness is just this vast field of information. All these grains are just flowing in the wind, and it's confusing. People don't understand what is wellness. They don't understand what is health. They don't understand what is healthy. They don't understand how to get healthy. They don't, much less how to get well. So the purveyors of health and wellness are just as confusing to the dynamics of making America healthy again, because they may themselves not be healthy. So they're not practicing what they preach, or they're only practicing a small amount of what they preach. So there's poor information out there. There's confusing information out there. There's confusion in obtaining the information out there. One day this one was valid, and then the next day this one is valid. And what's to say? Like, let's look at coffee. Coffee's good. Coffee's not good. Wine is good. Wine is not good. Chocolate's good. Chocolate's not good. So, there's all this conflicting information out there, and people who have no idea and really aren't versed in doing the research themselves, they don't know where to go to. So this channel and this video specifically, my intention is with this video is to give you something to walk away with, so you know how to kind of look at what direction you're going to go with your health and with your wellness. Nutritional nonsense. I'm just going to look at the poor information or the confusing information first. Nutritional nonsense is something, as the label that I use. So I did a speech or a talk in front of a bunch of people who have a lot of nutritional nonsense in their mind. about it's a label that I coined the phrase on. I guess you could say I thought it up. Doesn't mean someone else hasn't thought it up. It's just that was what I titled my speech or my PowerPoint presentation, was nutritional nonsense. And I was really talking about all of the nonsensical labels and diets that are out there. Let's go back to me being Generation X and let's look at the grapefruit diet and the bagel diet and, what were the liquid diet. Those were the things that, and put in the comments, do you remember any nutritionally nonsensical diets that were relevant or popular, should I say, at the time, back in the 70s, back in the early 80s. Those nutritionally nonsensical diets, we still have them today. They've just morphed. So that's all confusing because what happened to the egg diet? What happened to the grapefruit diet? What happened to this diet? What happened to the diet where you take this powder or this pill or you drink this 2 sensible shakes a day and then you have a healthy meal at night? What does healthy mean? That's what I'm going to give you in this video. You also have confusing information on exercise and movement patterns. Jazzercise, we're going to get healthy doing jazzercise. We're going to get healthy doing Zumba. We're going to get healthy doing running or jogging. This person's healthy. They walk every day. You can jog. Okay? I've met many people. You can jog and eat horribly and have health concerns and health issues. Some of them not so good. So it's really important to understand that you can do some things and not be a purveyor of health, much less wellness. So exercise and movement patterns and nutrition those are a few areas where there's a lot of confusing information. Just scroll through your Facebook. Just put in exercise in your search bar and see what comes up. There's so many. You get local, you get this movement pattern and this certification and this, and they all claim to be absolutely the best, but 20 years from now, are they still the best? So you also have confusing information in the area of mental health. So mental health is something that we've really seen come to peak. It's still health, right? It's our mind. But mental health is something that's really come to peak and we've been concerned with. And as we used to have mental health facilities and then budgets pulled mental health facilities, mental health, there's a lot of confusing information out there on mental health. There's over 200 diagnosed mental health illnesses and diseases, and that's a lot. So mental health isn't just one thing, and there's no weighted. I mean, I really struggle when people think that one type of mental health is worse or better than and easier to deal with. The fact is that mental health is still health, and it is something we have to look at. Let's look at mental health and depression. So many people struggle with depression, whether momentary depression, clinical depression, long-term depression, situational depression, sun depression, sad, I think is seasonal affective disorder, which is mental health, has to do with weather. Me personally, I struggle during the summer. It's not the winter I struggle with. It's not the lack of sunshine. It is the inability to get out in the sunshine in the summer because in Texas it is so hot. So it's very difficult. You sweltering hot and the wind and there's just all these variables and you just stay inside because everything is just frying. It feels like you feel like bacon in a frying pan. That does not make me feel good. So I have to stay inside. Therefore, I'm not getting what I need. There's light therapy and all kinds of things that a person can seek for that. But there are so many studies, clinical studies, that show strong, significant improvements, if not eradication of depression, just by getting in the morning sun every day. Walking in the morning sun. When the sun is rising till about 10 a.m., sometime in that time frame, that's not a good source of vitamin D, but it is clinically proven to almost eradicate, if not completely eradicate, depression. But you go to a doctor with some depressed symptoms, and what's the first thing they do? They write a prescription for a medication that has a host of side effects that can interact with. So like I said, you put what's on outside, you got what's outside going on, you got other issues, and it impacts those. Some medications impact your motivation, some impact your ability to breathe or exercise. I have that. Their blood pressure goes up because they're on a certain medication when they exercise. So they can't exercise, which, that throws off the balance. You also have sleep. So in sleep, well, let me go back to mental health with a depression study, that sunshine increases the serotonin, or the feel good stuff, which is why it helps eradicate, or significant. I use that word. It's not just a little, it's not moderately. You invest $700 into something, and I tell you there's going to be a significant 90% return on that, no problems. I mean, are you going to invest it and you get $1,400 back? Probably. I mean, it's just easy return if you have $700 to do that with. Well, depression, there's a significant return on you getting in that morning sunshine every day. You have sleep and relaxation. There's a lot of things that impact our ability to relax and our ability to sleep. And one of the most significant ones that we have now that we didn't have in the 80s are cell phones. And their electromagnetic frequencies or electromagnetic radiations, just like solar flares. You've got gamma rays, X-rays, radio waves. You've got UV light, or UV rays. You've got LEDs. We use a lot of LEDs now instead of natural lighting. So all of these things play an impact on our sleep. And it's confusing because they push the LED lights because they're economical. They push the cell phone usage because it's convenient. All of these things going on electromagnetically, and yet it impacts our ability to sleep and increases rates of, I lose my train of thought as I say it, but Alzheimer's or dementia. And, memory is one thing, but it does impact the memory as well. There's some age-related memory issues that go on, and then there are premature memory issues that go on. So you have all of those things that play into that. And that's where all that confusion lies. There's so many more, and I'm not going to go into, I could probably do a whole video series on the confusing information available to us. But and this video could just be another confusing video. It could be another bit of information out there that just makes people go, what the heck? So my intention, again, is to explain to you how to navigate the system so that you can obtain the information you want that helps you on your journey. The journey to wellness is not replicatable. You and me will never be the same. You and anyone else will never be the same. There's not even similarities. There might be a similar situation, but the journey itself is completely yours, and you are walking it alone. And it's very lonely if you are attached to people, places, and things. So part of being able to obtain your health and wellness and reclaim your health and achieve wellness, you're going to reclaim your health and we're going to achieve wellness, is to have a guide or a guidance system or a series of guides or something that allows you to have something to tangibly follow that helps you every day. And that would be what I'm hoping to provide. If not me or Coach Albert, which, Two Tribes Primal Fitness is me and my beloved husband, Albert. And I affectionately call him Coach Albert on the videos because a lot of you don't know him as Albert. So Coach Albert, we're both coaches, and we're both guides, and that gives you an indication of which video to kind of watch. Some of you will resonate with what I say. I focus on women's health, wellness. He focuses on men's health and wellness. We both focus on fitness. He focuses on men's and I focus on women's. It doesn't mean I can't coach a man, and it doesn't mean he can't coach women. We both prefer to stay within our lane on that. I do have a special population of clients that are men, but they are not in the general classes. So our takeaway today then would be to reclaim our own sovereignty and have access, know how to ferret through the confusing information out there. And that's what I'm going to do. So to do that, I have to slice it in half, health and wellness. So let's talk about health first. Health, by definition, is the absence of disease. If you look at the word dis-ease, discombobulated, dysfunction, disassemble, dissociate, it's away from. And if you look at ease, easily, easy, it's a fluidity or a flow. And when you disrupt that flow in the body, you create a problem. Everything has homeostasis. Everything wants balance. Everything is fluid and functioning as it's intended to do. And when you bring something, some infiltrator, some viral aspect, some bacterial aspect, some choice like alcohol or illicit drugs or something like that, you bring that into play, you create dis-ease in the body. So there's many places for dis-ease to live. Disease can be mental. It can be emotional, which I lump emotional under mental, but a lot of people see it as two separate. And then you have the physical, the chemical body, chemical, physical, skin and inside. And then you have our spiritual. So our spiritual is our soulful. The soul is constant. The soul in all of us is constant. There's no deviation. It is what it is. And the soul's purpose, the conduit for that is spirituality. It's how that soul is channeled, or that purpose is channeled. So there's flow and fluidity in that as well. It's our purpose. It's our joy. Every human being is intended to aspire to seek joy. Joy is on an emotional scale. There's many scales out there. I use one that is like 1 to 22, 1 being the highest vibrational, 22 being the lowest. In 22, you've got grief and depression, and fear. And anger isn't even in 22. Anger is higher. It's a higher vibrational or higher frequency than grief and depression. That's as low as you can go on this scale that I choose. Joy is number 1. So if I am striving to reach number 1, but I'm always sad and always moo-moo, then it's interesting how we create around us that space of lack of purpose. And without purpose, our spirit can't channel, it can't be the conduit for that purpose. And therefore, we may go to church, we may read the Bible, we may read another book, we may attend retreats. There's so many things that align us spiritually. But without purpose, where are we? So that's spiritual health. So you have those 4 areas of health. And when you have disease in the mind, so you have mental health problems, you have a mental health disorder or disease, you have an emotional disorder or disease, you have a physical disorder or disease, or you have a spiritual disorder or disease, then you aren't healthy in that area. And there is a misconception that taking medication alleviates the disease. It does not. It is a symptomatic a way to manage the symptoms of the disease. Most people will manage the symptoms and not take on the lifestyle change that is required, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual. They won't take on the lifestyle change required. So before I move on to wellness, let's talk about change. There is this continuum or this circle that we use in coaching, in nutritional coaching and my Master Health and Wellness coaching certification. Is a continuum of change. You cannot change somebody else ever. There's none. So people try to control others by trying to change them. I'm going to marry this person and change them. I know they're struggling, and me marrying them, well, I'll be the impetus for change for them, and then I'll help them change. It doesn't happen that way. You can't change an alcoholic. You can't change a drug addict. You can't change someone who has an eating disorder. You can't change any of that. You cannot enact change on someone else, only yourself. So this circle applies only to you. So you don't leave this video and go, hey, I watched this video today and you're not doing this in the change process. No, it's about you changing. So you've got your circle of change. You don't even concern yourself with someone else's circle. If you want them to understand what that circle is, you can guide them to the video and maybe they'll watch it. You get the circle of change. You have up here the people who refuse to change. They're not ready to change. They don't want to change. Change is not even part of their thing. You can't do anything about that. If that's you, can't do anything about it. You're not ready to change. You're watching this video going, I don't need to change anything. Then you've got the people who are contemplating change. But they're not ready to change. They're just contemplating it. They're tossing it around in their brain. Then you got the people who are ready to research what needs to be done for change. That's where change starts to happen for yourself. You're reaching out and researching, and that's what this video is about. I am ready to research and find what I need for myself to change my behaviors for health and wellness. Then you've got those who are showing up. I am ready, willing, and able. Able is a big one because you can have somebody who's ready and willing and they're not able. They do not have the resources or in a space that they can change. They can make those changes. So it's hard for us to judge somebody and say, well, I don't know why they don't change. Why they not? They should do this, but they're not. Maybe that they're ready. I can see that they're ready, but I don't know why they won't. They may not be able. So some people don't seek health and wellness because they're not able to change. Then we come around to making the change. So they're starting to show up and they're doing the things. Then they get to the consistent part of the change. They're consistently doing the things. And then they come around to the maintenance. And then it's a lifestyle. So all the things, whether you're an alcoholic and you're looking to change, you got to make new lifestyle changes, new lifestyle choices. And that's all in that continuum. And so everything we want to change within ourselves, we have to go through that continuum. You can talk all you want about changing. And one of the problems I have is people will come up and they'll ask questions, but they're not yet ready to make the changes. They're not committed to it. They want to know all the information, but they are not ready for any changes. And I recognize that I'm not going to put any energy into those people. I'm not going to change. So this video is for you are ready, willing, and able to change. You might be researching, but you're ready to change. And anyone else on the rest of the continuum. So without change in our health, we can't eliminate or lessen disease in those 4 areas that I spoke of. So those 4 areas are also part of wellness. And wellness, so health is the absence of disease. Wellness is the balance of those 4 pillars. So you're balancing your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health. A person who is physically fit and has the muscle tone and looks great in the competitions and all these things, many of those people, I've been in the world or the industry, should I say, this fitness world for long enough to see the demons that these people have. So that is their insecurity. All of these things, that's their expression of insecurity. And they bring forth a lot of imbalance. Sure, they look great, but there's an imbalance somewhere. I'm not saying all of them that look great are imbalanced. I'm just saying that is what I've seen as a big undertone. And that's just an example of an imbalance. To be well, you are balanced in your health mentally, you are balanced in your health physically, you are balanced in your health emotionally, and you are balanced in your health spiritually. That is wellness. So if you are suffering from physical disease, and you have really, really poor body composition, and you eat really poorly, and you're suffering from maybe some chronic throat pain or neurological issues that you're writing off as let's say menopause, and you have joint pains, and you've got these things, and you're taking this shot and you're taking that shot, but you are a purveyor of spiritual wellness. You are not well. You are not doing wellness. You are focused on one component of wellness. So our goal as wellness coaches and guides is to become balanced in all four. If you are truly a wellness coach and guide, then you are balanced in all four, or working towards healing. So you are working on, let's say it's your body composition and cleaning your eating up. If you're working on that actively, not thinking about it, think of the continuum of change, but you're actively working and doing the consistent things, then sure, you're a purveyor of wellness if you've got all four under wraps. But it's, you can't really be deficient in one and well, much less healthy. So it's really important to understand that. So as you go through, let me talk about wellness in the mental realm. You know, all those mental disorders out there, those mental diseases, those mental health issues, those mental health problems, seeking help, making changes, doing the things that you need to do to balance out that mental health is so important. So that's one area. How are you mentally? Are you mentally stable? Do you have mental issues? Do you have mental monkey mind? Monkey mind is a problem. Learning to manage our monkey mind. You don't have to eradicate it, but you're working on keeping it out of things, or that ego. Ego is mind. You got that big ego, and you got to win. You got to compete. All those things. So you've got mental, emotional, balancing out your emotions. Guys, we cannot have meltdowns 24/7. It's just not okay. And we also can't close those emotions off, because that's not okay either. The human has a spectrum of emotions, minus a few mental health diseases or neurological issues. Most of us have a variety of emotions. And there are healthful emotions, healthful ways to express our emotions, and there are unhealthy ways to express our emotions. And if we're seeking health and wellness, then it's really important to look at our our emotional health, and how if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. You have to be able to address what you're feeling. You can't just compartmentalize it and then have meltdowns. Because the meltdowns, and then you just shut it down, it's still there. And that's the problem. And so that's why I kind of separate the two, mental and emotional. Whereas the DSM-5, or whatever version we're in, is a book of mental health. So then we've got nutritional, or we've got physical, which is our nutrition, our toxins, our what we breathe, how we exercise, sunshine, sleep, relaxation, what we drink, supplementation, all those things fall under the physical. All of those. So if you're taking turmeric and you're taking this and you're taking this supplement, you're taking this natural supplement, and you're smoking a little of the stuff, and you're doing any of those things, those are all physical things. If you're walking, if you're doing yoga, even within an exercise, there's a subset of balance. So this is where it gets complicated. People get wrapped up in the physical. It's complicated. And they don't like the way they're aging, so they'll start injecting their face with stuff, or they don't like the weight they carry and they don't want to do the work. They're not ready, willing, and able to make the changes that are healthy. So they'll get some stuff going in their bodies, and then they have consequent health problems, and then they're mad at themselves, and so then it's emotional problem. You see how this intertwines. It's like a big blanket. So wellness is like a giant blanket of all these things intertwining. And then, then they're using fluoride toothpaste, which I don't use. It's this huge woven arena. So anyway, that's wellness. Then we get spiritual wellness. Balancing yourself in your purpose, your energy. What is your vibe? How do you present when you walk in a room, man? Are you like, when you walk in, are you the one in the corner that looks like all the shadows and darkness is around them? Or are you the one that shines? Do you have a smile that's vibrant? And do you light up the room? And do you let your light shine? And do you express your purpose? And are you doing what you're intended to do? Are you making the change? Are you joyous in what you do? I love what I do. I am very joyous in what I do. And I know my purpose. And it's really, I was in my early 50s when I discovered my purpose. So my true purpose, I always kind of knew, but it was coming, and I was just experimenting. But that's where wellness lies. Wellness lies in getting all of those areas fully functioning and balanced. So fitness doesn't even come into play in health or wellness. Fitness is a subjective level. People in yoga think they're fit. Runners think they're fit. Weightlifters think they're fit. CrossFitters think they're fit. Goodness, I have been in this industry for so long that I've heard one, like, those people who do burpees are this. I've heard it. And they're stupid, or they got lazy coaches. No, we don't have lazy coaches. If you want to go do a burpee, do a burpee. It's subjective. It's not measurable. And long-term CrossFit, or long-term running, or long-term wild yoga stretchy stuff can have harsh implications. So that's wellness as a whole. And I want to wrap it up by saying, when you're looking to make yourself well again, or make yourself healthy for the first time, it's important to look at what's available and ask yourself, does this thing feed my physical body? Or nourish, should I say nourish? Does it feed the wellness of my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body, and my spiritual body? Or does this thing I'm ingesting for my physical body have side effects that impact my mental, my cognition? I don't want to drink alcohol if Wernicke's disease is something that can happen. You have to go look up Wernicke's disease. Dis-ease. I don't want to have high blood pressure, which can come from alcohol use. I don't want to have whatever problems we can have. Anger issues. Alcohol just makes people more of who they are, right? So not to get hung up on alcohol, because anything, sugar, horrible stuff. I'm 2 years sugar-free in April. And when I say sugar-free, I went through a hard, cold rigid process of zero sugar anything. I cleaned everything out to see what was going on with my body because I was having some joint issues. Well, it was sugar. I've never been a sugar addict, but so I had to reclaim that. I had to be ready, willing, able, and then consistent in that. I couldn't be ready, willing, and able and then inconsistent because you're not going to yield results and you're not going to have lifestyle change. So it's a continuum. And I love that lifestyle change just moves on. Because when we change our lifestyle, we change our lives. We change our wellness. We're not in competition. We're all walking the same path. You can be in front of me, you can be behind me. It doesn't matter. We're going the same way. I'm not in competition with you. I don't need to pass you. You don't need to pass me. We're all going the direction we need to go. It's the ones who are staying back, who aren't going the direction. They're going all over here, over there. They're not walking the correct path. But it's their path. And we have to let them walk their path. So, do your research. Ask yourself those questions. Does this retreat, does this wellness retreat or this exercise or this gym or this food or this diet feed all of me? Does it make me whole? Because that's wellness. Does it eliminate my disease? If I take this pill, am I eliminating my disease? Or is it masking the symptoms of something that could be a lifestyle change? And that's really it. So do your research. Use the internet. It's great. It's a great tool. You can use plenty of stuff available. Learn to sift through. If it's creating secondary problems for you that are not linked to your 4 pillars, it's not in your highest good. It doesn't mean I judge or anyone else should judge you for doing that. But if it's creating secondary issues, it's really time to sit and think about what it is you're doing for your health and your wellness. Health is the absence of disease. If you're focused on your health and making your body healthy again, it's the absence of disease. So, do you have disease for which you're taking medications to manage? If so, you are not healthy, much less well. So that's something to look at. 2, do you have underlying disease that you're not taking medications for and not quite sure what to do? We're trying to eliminate or lessen the disease, mental, emotional. Are we doing the work required by us? And then taking that, even spiritual, mental, emotional, taking that and moving that into wellness. So once we manage, we get these under control or even eradicated, then we can look at wellness. We're always seeking balance. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Please like the video. If you have comments or you remember some of those diets or exercise things from the day, share them in the comments. They're funny. Like, subscribe, and if you want to receive notifications, ring the bell. Until next time, I'm out.